motion. Run out of motion, I go get more than. She like the way I smell, cause the YSL potent. She got a little jealous when she heard whoever stroking. My last girlfriend ain't got nothing on your throat, friend.
So most entrepreneurs, they found businesses in hope of financial success. Why is that not the smartest method to become, let's say, wealthy?
I thought about this concept this morning in the shower. Don't picture me in the shower. Imagine that you could have a time machine. Okay? Imagine that there was a time capsule. And the way this time machine worked is you step into the time machine, you pay a price. Okay, there's a fee. But having paid the fee, having paid the price, stepped into this time machine, you get to teleport, okay, and bring the future forward. Bring your business maturity forward by a factor of 10 years, 50 years, 100 years. M&A is this time machine. If we say that the core objective of you starting a business is different things, including expressing yourself, being your own boss, right? So having control and agency over your time. But let's say that a key part of that was also financial freedom, i.e. you want to make some money, you want to grow some wealth. What is the most efficient way to achieve that? M&A. Why? Because literally, you can buy a business that's been operating profitably for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years. There's a fee. It's not free. The fee is not a monetary fee. You don't pay, currency. You pay with hard work, with uncertainty, with grit and grinding, with actions. You pay a price. Call it 1 year of labor. But in return, you fast forward and fast track your business maturity by a factor of 10x, 20x, 50x. Our oldest company in our steel group, Northern Industries, has been trading literally since the 1860s.
Wow.
That's half the age of the United States of America. Okay? I think even more than half the age. I think America's 250 years old. Whatever. What's the alternative? Go start from scratch. Come up with an idea. Proof of concept. Try to find the first paying customer. Chase that customer for payments and invoices. Go find the 10th customer. Go back and fix the gaps in your business because now you have 5, 7, 10 customers. Things are falling apart. Build a system that becomes robust such that they don't fall apart. Put an employee into that system. Put a new employee into that system. Start to expand, start to scale. Fix, tweak, rinse, repeat. Over 10, 15, 20 years. And then maybe you get a £1 million, £5 million, £10 million revenue business if you're lucky. Or you can buy the business and step into that time machine. That's the power of M&A. There is no blueprint for what I do. I'm having to color it blue. But maybe you can learn from some of my lessons. And you can learn from the lessons of the other guys that have actually done this successfully, the Brad Jacobs. Ultimately, though, you have to take accountability for your own journey. You need to go out there and figure this shit out yourself.
When it comes to wordplay, I'm bringing it. Everything I do is spine tingling. Guaranteed to keep your mind lingering. When it comes down to me in the world, I'm fingering. Me against the world, leave the ocean full of pearls. Oyster, guaranteed to get the pussy moister. If the earth don't wanna be saved, I disappoint her. As I constantly try to evolve just like a togepi. Keep my pockets thick as the Parkers, Professor Oak.
Summer in Copenhagen, got my blanket, got my jacket or whatever the hell. What's this, a windbreaker? Oscar got on a coat, he got on a scarf. He got the whole Oscar thing going, the cap, the whole nine. Good news, we're busting out of here.
Yeah.
We might be somewhere sunny by the weekend.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Mykonos.
Yeah. What do you think is the reason that most people build businesses instead of buying them? Yeah. Is it lack of knowledge? Or is it fear? I will let you answer.
What are the reasons why someone would choose to build a business from scratch versus buying a business? I suspect there's a lot of ways to answer this, right? So another way to look at this is, what is art? Someone yodeling into a pipe is an art form. Yodelily-hoo. Tap dancing is art. Painting is art. It's all art, right? Similar to art, business, I think, is just an expression of the individual. Oscar's in business right now. He owns a company. The company's in the media space. He works with people, clients, but really he's a friend now. He's a friend that invoices, but anyway.
That's the worst one.
Yeah, I love it though. And so, this is an expression of Oscar, yet it's also a business. And so I think one reason people build businesses instead of sort of buying a business is because they're expressing themselves. Now, if we distill that a little bit further and say, what is the purpose of going into business in the first place? I think obviously aside from just expressing yourself, another purpose is to provide for yourself, to have economic upside, to have financial results that are positive, such that you can afford a fancy ass cup of coffee in the Danish summer, which is actually feels like winter. And so if part of the reason why you go into business is economics, i.e. to make some money, let's keep it real, you then have to take a step back and say, what is then the most efficient way to build a sustainable business that proves to be profitable over a very long period of time and is the most likely means of providing you and your family with access to finances? I think buying a business versus starting a business is the answer. If you just want to make money, when you buy a business, you shortcut the decades of trial and error. You shortcut the decades of trying to figure this out. So the question is, if you can acquire these brands, acquire these businesses that have already done the legwork, you enter the time machine, as I mentioned. A lot of people will then say, well, that's great for you, but what about me? It's all fine and well that you can buy a business, but I can't buy a business. And that's where the last piece comes in, which I will call, and I mean this in the most polite form, ignorance. People simply don't know that it's possible to buy a business. With everything else in life, for this cup of coffee, you know, you better have earned some money before you show up here ordering coffee. But it's different with buying businesses. You can partner with the capital. You can partner with the banks. You can partner with the investors. And it doesn't just have to be your business explicitly. You can have partners. And if you're unsure whether or not this is something for you specifically, I would suggest you watch our last episode, episode 30, where we talk about who you need to be in order to get into this. I simply don't see any better way to do it. 2019, I bought a business. Now it's 2025. That business does $45 million in revenue in 6 years. Sorry, I'm a bit behind. You did a very good job. I thought your presentation was pretty clear. We get stuck in this idea that M&A is all math, and that there's like literally right or wrong, and there's a magic formula, and there's a magic multiple. And really, there isn't such a thing, right? So this is all discussions and negotiations. And, you know, what deal can you agree? So willing buyer, willing seller. Even when we speak about multiples, we're not always speaking the same language, right? Say that you find a business that does £1 million, $1 million in earnings. And say that you agree to pay 5 times earnings for that business. So 5x EBITDA. What does that actually mean? Because every month, EBITDA changes. Are you paying 5x the financial year? Let's say the financial year is December, but what if you're now already 10 months into the next financial year? It's in October. Is it 5 times last year's EBITDA? Is it 5 times what's called trailing 12 months EBITDA, which might be a different figure? Is it 5 times EBITDA as of the day that you sent the letter of intent, which may be 2, 3, 5 months from the day that you close the deal? So even when we say something as simple as 5x EBITDA, there is no such thing as 5x EBITDA, 3x EBITDA, 4x EBITDA. The moral of that story is, yes, M&A is about finance, and it sounds like it's rigid and it sounds like it's all math, but there is no formula. This comes down to willing buyer, willing seller, what terms you can agree on, and whether you as the business buyer can deliver on those terms. And don't get stuck in the industry norms, because there aren't really any industry norms.
Hey, yo, bad play.
If you've tried to build a business in the past and it's failed, I don't necessarily know that influences or impacts your ability to buy a business. Obviously, if you yourself have gone personally bankrupt, meaning your ability to serve as a director of a business is impeded. So I think if you've gone personally bankrupt, this probably doesn't really work, at least not in the format that I've prescribed. But if you've previously been a director in a business that went bankrupt, I don't know that that's necessarily a problem. About 10 years ago, I founded a biotech startup, and we raised venture capital from different VCs in Denmark. We raised just under €1 million total. But we had creditors, we had lawyers that we were working with. Because we were in the biotech space, we had a lot of questions around, is it a medical device? So we had very high legal bills, meaning the business, as a result of failing to absorb more capital, had to eventually be dissolved. But That didn't impact me as an individual because I was a director. I had fiduciary duties, which I met. We did not trade whilst insolvent. So it was totally fine. We communicated very clearly with our shareholders, with our investors. And frankly, it was a tech startup. It was a biotech startup. It was a all or nothing market. We were either going to exit for hundreds of millions of dollars or go bust. That failure has not impeded my ability to do business, to execute leveraged buyouts. So I don't know that having a business having failed in the past prohibits you from doing this. The number one thing that's required is commitment. You can't ask me where I am because this is pre-recorded and you're probably just watching this in the comfort of your own home or the comfort of your own smartphone. But if you had the ability to ask me where I am, you would ask me, Yusufa, where are you right now? I am in a meeting room in 4 minutes about to jump on an investor call to try to raise equity such that I can buy the next businesses that we have lined up. After that call, I've got another call with another investor. And after that call, I've got a call with a business owner who's got a business for sale. Last week, I had calls with banks. And so where am I? I am in the thick of it. I'm taking the actions. I'm doing the deal flow, debt, equity trifecta that it takes to make this happen. You know, it's one thing to have hypotheses and theories and everything but the work. Do the work. I'm in a room doing the work. Literally, Oscar says to me, how much time do you have? Meaning, before you jump on a call and pitch to the investor, that's my damn alarm going off telling me you got but 3 damn minutes. Okay? So I'm doing the work. So to the extent that you're willing to do the work, deal flow, find businesses that are viable, that are profitable, where the seller is willing to transact with you and have you take over. Debt, communicate with banks in the way that I did last week. Get them interested in making capital and debt and credit available to your structures. Equity, speak to potential investors in the way I'm literally about to do in 2 damn minutes. My alarm just went off. Do that. That's the work. Yeah. Whatever you're willing or able to put in front of us to help us get these deals done so that we can then get the next deals done would be infinitely helpful. Likewise, have a good one. Cheers. Okay, Paul and I just had a great meeting. I keep booking these meetings for 30 minutes, which is real silly because that one lasted 52 minutes, which then spilled into the next meeting. And I'm now getting our team to reschedule that meeting. So there's a bit of logistics going on in the background, but very productive call. It's time to start closing some damn deals. Oscar, ain't you sick and tired of that £9 million kicker? Oscar's edited 31 videos. This is episode 31. Man, Oscar got so sick and tired of that £9 million. He went like 10 videos without even putting an update.
Yeah.
And then on the last episode, he put an update.
Yeah.
Like a notification. Hey, Use.
Yeah.
Still £9 million, bro. 0 to 100. Where are we at? We still at £9 million. 0 to 100 million in revenue, 10 to 15% margins, I think is the right ambition for this show. It's an appropriate milestone to document. I actually think we will hit that figure way ahead of the target date set, which is essentially end of 2026. So as of now, I have 18 months to do it, even though we're only 10% of the way there. That might seem a bit oxymoronic, like how are you going to do that? But the thing you have to realize is this is not a ladder. It's sort of like happens in bursts, if that makes sense. And another thing to mention is, bro, what about your damn business? You know, have you grown it like 100% the last 8 months? It ain't easy. This is real. This is not like make-believe. This ain't WWE wrestling over here. So like, obviously it's messy, right? And obviously it's gonna be 9 million for like 8 months. Like that's the reality. Just like, you know, whoever's watching this business probably hasn't doubled or tripled in 8 months either. But what I can promise you though is, you know, we will hit 100 million pounds in revenue, 10 to 15 million pounds in EBITDA before December 2026.